Good evening. My name is Hasnia Shams, and in breaking news, 6 students from UQ have urgently met to discuss transport in the news. At this stage, all we know is that the students have analysed two pieces of news. Sourced from the Urban Developer and ABC News, the two articles discuss Brisbane's Cross River Rail project and Annerley Junction's main road. Regan, thanks for coming on. What can you tell us?
The Cross River Rail is Queensland's biggest infrastructure project, costing as much as $5.4 billion. The 10.2 kilometre rail line starts at Dutton Park and finishes at Bowen Hills through building a 5.9 kilometre tunnel under the CBD and Brisbane River. The project is overseen by the preferred bidder, the Pulse Consortium. They aim to deliver 4 underground stations at Boggo Road, Woolloongabba, Albert Street and Roma Street, as well as 8 upgraded stations along the edges of Brisbane and 3 new Gold Coast stations. The project will create at least 7,700 construction jobs for South East Queenslanders, and the main aim for the rail is to reduce congestion within the rapidly growing Brisbane city. This population growth creates a demand to provide services, therefore the rail responds to these pressures. Each station will be situated within a key inner city growth area. Some stakeholders, to name a few, include Unity Alliance, Jacobs, CPB Contract and ACOM. The Hitachi Rail will also bring a $634 million European train control system in which will improve safety and service frequency. Funding is provided by both the Queensland and federal government. The current funding for the rail is at a $3.73 billion as of the 2021 to 2022 financial year. However, a remaining $1.7 billion is allocated for future budgets towards 2023 and 2024. The Queensland Government in February 2017 released a request for change of proposal for public comment, which outlined proposed alterations to the location of stations. This allowed for communal say within the project, which is good planning. The rail commenced works in August 2017 and is predicted to be completed and running by 2024. There have been some complications within the project's process. Construction workers have protested to Parliament regarding how contracts have been awarded for the project. CIMIC's construction subsidiary was forced by Queensland regulators to lie that there was enough money to continue development. However, it was QBCC that pointed out CIMIC's financial loss of $1 billion in February. The Queensland Government also dismissed the 10-member independent board due to their inability to manage industrial relation disputes. Currently, the project remains on schedule despite the COVID-19 crisis. There are strict protocols regarding health and sanitation. However, the Cross River Rail continues its steady progress.
Thank you, Regan. Next we have Ben. Ben, what's the latest?
Thanks, Max. Cross River Rail is one of the most significant public transport projects in Australia's history and is the biggest that Queensland has ever undertaken. Fully funded by the Queensland State Government, the $5.4 billion project will focus on unlocking Brisbane's rail bottleneck. This comes as experts predict that South East Queensland's rail demand will double in less than a decade and triple by 2036. To cope with this predicted pressure, Cross River Rail will see 10.2 kilometres of predominantly underground railway from Dutton Park to Exhibition Station, sprouting up 4 new railway stations: Boggo Road, Woolloongabba, Albert Street and Roma Street. Each of these locations have been strategically located. Boggo Road for its connection to the South Eastern Busway, Park Road Station, future Brisbane Metro services, future Inner City South State Secondary College, the University of Queensland and the Eco Sciences Precinct. Woolloongabba was chosen for its prime location within a growing inner city area and its connection to the busway and major sporting stadium, the Gabba. Albert Street has been chosen to connect the southern end of the CBD and link pedestrians with Queen Street Mall, QUT's Gardens Point campus, the future Queen's Wharf development, Eagle Street Pier, the Botanic Gardens and 1 William Street. Roma Street is being dubbed Brisbane's Grand Central, as it will become the interchange for suburban, regional and interstate bus and train services, as well as future Brisbane Metro services. Last on the line is an upgraded exhibition station that will become a permanent train station with connections to the RNA Showgrounds, Hurston Quarter and the Royal Brisbane and Women's Hospital. The state government is investing billions into promoting public transport and providing new opportunities for urban renewal and development projects. Cross River Rail is on track for completion by 2024.
Brilliant, Ben. And Max, What do you think about the Cross River Rail project? The Cross River Rail seems like a massive upheaval and restructure of Brisbane's built environment and transport network. The project is intertwined above and below ground through the most densely populated areas of Brisbane. As a UQ student who is located in Yongpilly, I look forward as a commuter to seeing how the new plan will benefit me. Although, due to the scale of the project, I could see my movements being restricted for a short term while the infrastructure is being put in place. This is true. The project isn't expected to be finished for another 4 years. I hopefully won't be at UQ then, but I predict that I will continue to be a frequent user of public transport. However, I think I should be appraising the project with a bit more scope rather than personal experience. That is, what the direct and indirect impacts of the project will be for the wider Brisbane community. According to the Cross River Rail article, it will create 7,700 jobs, which will be great for a quick COVID-19 bounce back for many jobless labourers and services. I also congratulate the project for its inclusion of outer suburbs instead of just focusing on the CBD area. It is also a reflection of Brisbane City Council's allegiance to public and active transport investment instead of inducing demand for private automobiles through new road development. The project will be more efficient than current movements of people and will most likely alleviate congestion on roads. It is also sensitive to Brisbane's growing population, 4.9 million by 2036. I also enjoy the plans to have more bus services linked to the rail so that commuters can reach further than the track extends. This will bring many cars off the roads and bring down rates of obesity through active transport. However, I think it is incredibly distasteful for political parties to use the project and its plans as leverage to further their own agenda or bring down opposing parties. This has been the case recently between LNP and Labor with the decision of moving the Dutton Park station. There is also great potential for tickets to be grossly overpriced, much like the airport line. Through no fault of its own, the beginning of the project comes at no worse time. The Cross River Rail utilises train lines that will bring people into confined, closed spaces without much social distancing. This will prove to be a major deterrent for commuters due to COVID-19 and the future of disease spread control. I am also unsure if Brisbane is even dense enough in the transport lines for the project to be successful. If I were a homeowner, I would also be worried about the impacts of having a train line potentially going underneath my home and its effect on surrounding land values. Overall, I am quite optimistic and curious as to how the developers will integrate this enormous project seamlessly into Brisbane's built environment whilst maintaining heritage-listed buildings such as South Brisbane Train Station. I also look forward to seeing more use of public transport in the Brisbane community. And also on the line is Emma. Emma, what will you be telling us?
The Annerley Junction on Ipswich Road has been a forefront transport issue in South Brisbane for nearly a decade. With over 60,000 vehicles using the road every day, sinister safety statistics have urged various lobbying efforts from councillors, schools and residents. In just 5 years, Annerley Junction has experienced 95 crashes, 3 deaths and multiple pedestrian injuries. This review of Ipswich Road has brought into question the safety of pedestrians, especially crossing children from the nearby schools, and business along the main road. Correspondingly, various transport developments have been suggested by stakeholders in order to prioritise safety and to a lesser extent ease of traffic. Local resident Georgie advocates for an underground tunnel connecting the PA Hospital and Yeronga Memorial Park, lessening chaotic vehicle use on Wild Ipswich Road. However, the Brisbane City Council, as per the 2018 Pedestrian Safety Review, claim no bypass or feasibility study is a recommended approach. Opposing views are also present in other alternatives to make Ipswich Road safer, such as the popular movement of lowering the speed limit from 60 km per hour to 50 km per hour. Brisbane City Council Independent Councillor for Tennyson, Nicole Johnston, says it would reclaim the hub for residents rather than for traffic. However, a 2019 review recommended the existing speed limit of 60 km per hour should be retained for the full corridor. As a result, transport improvements have been brought to a halt for Annerley Junction and Ipswich Road. Authorities have recently reapproached the issue via the Council's appeal of the 2019 review and the state government undertaking a speed limit review panel in June 2020. This review recommends Council consider a permanent or time-based speed limit reduction on some sections of Ipswich Road. A 24-hour pedestrian survey for Ipswich Road was also completed and is awaiting final analysis of results. Though steps have been taken in the right direction towards the safety of Ipswich Road, contention still exists among the stakeholders of Annerley.
Thanks, Emma. Tamsin is another transport planning expert. What do you think?
There is significant debate between the Brisbane City Council and the residents of Annerley in regard to the future of the Annerley Junction at Ipswich Road. The community, who have been advocating for infrastructure or policy change for almost 15 years, would prefer a bypass run underneath Ipswich Road from the Princess Alexandra Hospital to Yeronga Memorial Park. However, Infrastructure Committee Chair and Councillor for the Hamilton Ward, David McLaughlin, says that this bypass suggestion is not something that the Brisbane City Council is seriously considering. Additionally, McLaughlin says that the council does not intend to undertake a feasibility study to judge the need for a safer intersection over the possible complexity and major expense of the infrastructure, despite councillors calling for the study. The choice not to undertake this feasibility study comes from citations from the 2018 Pedestrian Safety Review, which did not recommend a bypass under the road. Most significantly in the debate on the Annerley Junction is the proposal to reduce the speed limit from 60 km per hour to 50 km per hour. The lowering of the area's speed limit is the only proposal which is being seriously considered. It has been reviewed by councillors and the local community, who both find the suggestion appropriate. The decision to pursue this idea was put into action through an appeal of the 2019 review that recommended the 60 km per hour speed limit be kept for the entire corridor. It caused the state government to undertake a speed limit review panel in June 2020, which recommended to council that a permanent or time-based speed limit reduction be enforced in some parts of Ipswich Road. Significantly, the council and the community both aim to reclaim Ipswich Road through Annerley as a safe hub for residents rather than for traffic. While the council has over time been dismissive and complacent over calls for a review of the Annerley Junction area, it is likely that with the reduction of the speed limit, Annerley will become a safer space for residents.
Insightful, Tamsin. Finally, Georgia will share her thoughts on the Annerley Junction precinct speed limits.
After a thorough analysis of the ABC News article discussing the transport and safety concerns of Annerley's Ipswich Road, transport planning students from the University of Queensland have suggested two major recommendations to enhance the safety along the problematic Brisbane Road. The first suggestion of introducing a rail barrier along both sides of Ipswich Road, specifically near the focal hub of shops, is a cost-effective alternative to the previously suggested bypass tunnel appeal in the article released in July of 2020. The durable barrier would deviate the intent of those to jaywalk and instead offer a safe, designated and structured area for pedestrians to cross the road. A similar design of this can be identified at the corner of Melbourne Street and the SE busway located within South Brisbane. Furthermore, it has been suggested that the construction of a bypass would not be a cost-effective measure and increase a new set of matters through its construction period, as well as display safety concerns for its thoroughfare post-construction. Another major point examined by students discussed the article's pleading from local residents and shop owners for the road speed limit to be reduced. The conclusion was that, in agreement with Councillor Johnston and Councillor Griffiths, that the lowering of the speed limit from 60 km per hour to 50 km per hour is a reasonable and rational change due to having a primary school located on one side of the road and having those children crossing the road on a daily basis to access the local shops and supermarket. With these changes to be implemented in the foreseen future, it is hoped to decrease the amount of car crashes and fatalities along Annerley's Ipswich Road and bring reconciliation among the local residents and shop owners.
Thank you for tuning in this evening. My name is Hasnia Shams, and you're watching UQ News.